Welcome back for day 29. So here you are. We're one day away from 30 days of yoga. And whether or not it's consecutive days or just 30 days over a period of time, that's still a huge accomplishment. Today, I wanted to tune into the intention of trying to focus on the good. I think we've done a lot of work through the practices that we've done so far at letting go and making space and learning how to make room for the good. But I think sometimes we get caught up in all of that negativity, all of that energy around us that sometimes can be really overwhelming. And we forget to focus on the good aspects and the positives. So in this practice, I really want to go inward and try to think about what that means to you, what the good is that you have to focus on and be grateful for, and try to really bring the attention back to that when you find that you start to head down that negative pathway. So when you're ready, I will see you on the mat. So welcome back for day 29. Our intention today is to focus on the good. So this will be definitely a practice where we stay in the postures a little bit longer and really try to tune in and ground ourselves today. If you have a blanket nearby, I would encourage you to maybe roll that up, or if you have a neck roll, you can use that. But just put something under your neck to start, because we're going to start off just really kind of grounding, centering, settling in. So take the time now that you've brought yourself to the mat, which is the first difficult part. Take the time to now settle in to the practice. So let everything get heavy. Let your shoulders get heavy. Let yourself just relax into the floor, onto the mat. So you feel like the ground is supporting you here. And your arms can be wherever it feels good, maybe down by your sides, over your belly. Maybe you put one hand over your heart, one hand over your abdomen. We're going to take some time here. Tune into the breath. Start to lengthen, deepen your inhales. Maybe when you get to the top of the inhale, you hold it there and take in just a little bit more. And then let it go as slow as you can. And start to bring your attention to the places in your body that maybe are talking to you right now. Maybe something has been bugging you. Maybe you're coming to the mat with a headache or, muscle tension or aches, or, maybe you're holding on to tension somewhere that you just are noticing as you're lying here. So this is your time to just do a little once over, do a little check in, start at the top of your head. So take a little body scan. We commonly can hold tension in our shoulders. So see if you can bring them down and back further on the mat. And it may be totally not a conscious thing, but now that I'm saying it to you, you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, my shoulders were all the way up. So this is your time to just really kind of go through each part of your body all the way down to your toes and just see if there's an area where you need to focus in, give a little more attention, relax a little more. And this truly can be really difficult, especially if you're coming to the mat and it's been like a crazy day and you've been frustrated or stressed. And like, I hear you. That honestly, that was my day today. I don't I don't always show up, all zenned out already. I'm with you. I feel it. So, this is your time to reset, flip the switch. And that brings us back to our intention of focusing on the good. So, one of our practices was to shift your perspective. So, similarly, we're in the process of letting go of all of that negativity. You're making room to really tune in and pay more attention to all of the good that there is. And maybe it's just a tiny thing that makes you happy in the middle of the day. Someone did something thoughtful or said something kind and it just kind of made your day. Go back to that. We so quickly push away all of the goodness and all of the positive reinforcement, and we tend to hyper focus on all of the negative things that people say. And I have a really great journaling exercise that goes along with this, so I'm going to share that as well. So really tune in here. So if your hands over your abdomen or over your heart, as you're breathing in, notice the expansion, hold it there at the top, and then exhale long, slow, feel the contraction. So we'll start with some knee circles today. Starting on the right side, you're going to bring that right knee up toward your shoulder and in. And you can place the hand on the left hip just to remind that hip to stay down as you start to just make circles with the right knee. And pay attention to all areas again, even though you're focused on, making circles with the hip. Your foot is flexed on the right side. Left leg is extended. Left foot is flexed. Thing is just sort of lying there. And you can sync it up with your breath. So inhale, bring it in. Exhale, push out. Your circle. So I like to, especially with a practice like focusing on the good, I like to start with some hip stuff just because we, especially women, we hold a lot of emotion in our hips. A lot of that tension sits in the hip area. So I like to start right in, right into those hips. Get right into that emotional stuff. Switching sides. So bringing that left knee up toward the shoulder and in, and start with your circles. And you can let that right hand just rest on the right hip to remind that right hip to stay down. You're not lifting as you're making circles here. Everything stays on the floor. It's hard. I know. Some days are harder than others to see the good in this crazy pandemic life we're living. But that's where the yoga is so helpful to just bring you back, to give yourself that time to just refocus on what maybe made you happy today. Maybe start there. Reverse your circles if you haven't already. And then we're going to bring both knees in now. So right is coming in to meet the left. And then we're just going to rock and roll a couple times here. So just get into the spine a little while you have the opportunity and then come all the way up. We're going to meet in a forward fold and really let yourself come down into this forward fold. So really relax the lower back. Take a little micro bend in the knees if you need to. Toes are spread nice and wide. Your feet are hips width distance apart, and then let everything hang down. You can take a rag doll here, so hold on to the arms and maybe swing side to side. If you're super flexible, sometimes it feels good to tuck your hands underneath your feet and give yourself like a little wrist massage. And you may be like, yep, that's not happening, and that's totally fine. Take your version of a nice relaxed forward fold. So really let yourself get heavy as you're exhaling. Let everything hang down. I feel like we should all do this at least like 3 times a day. Personally, I literally do it like in my kitchen sometimes. I just fold over. And then to get a little bit deeper here, you can bend the right knee, extend that left leg, and then walk your hands over toward the left. This feels so good. Give yourself a few breaths there. Same thing, other side. So now you're going to bend that left knee, extend that right leg, walk your hands over to the right. Breathe into those tight areas. So as you're exhaling, you can probably feel where you're holding on to that tension, where that tightness is. And as you exhale, can you get into that just a little bit more? Get a little heavier. Just let yourself relax into this as much as you can. And one more big inhale, one more big exhale. Walk the hands back to center and then walk them forward. If you still have your little neck roll there, you can just push it out of the way. Walk yourself into a plank. Hold on to your plank here. And we're going to take some mindful mountain climber movements. So you're going to bring that right knee toward your nose, back out. Same with the left, toward the nose, back out. Now, on your own breath, take a few of these. Keeping in your plank, inhale. Two more. And then come back to your plank. One more big inhale. Exhale, push up, downward facing dog. Should feel so good. Again, retraining your brain to focus on the good. So coming from the mindful mountain climber motion up into this down dog should feel so good for your back. Breathe here. And maybe you pedal it out. Maybe you take stillness in this down dog, but just give yourself a few breaths to just feel this out. So don't sit and wait for me to say, this is what we're doing next, but just really feel this. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, kick that right leg all the way up behind you. Bring it forward between the hands, taking your low lunge. Bring the arms all the way up. And breathe. Maybe look up. Maybe take that little mini back bend here. And imagine that you're greeting the sun. Exhale, hands come down. Push into the palms, tuck the toes on the left side. Kick that right leg back. Plank. Breathe. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Push it up. Back to your down dog. Pedal it out now. And then when you're ready, kick that left leg up this time. Bring it between the palms. Right knee comes down. Lunge. I almost lost my balance there, but I didn't. Find your balance. Find your foundation. Breathe. Maybe take that little mini back bend. Focus on the good. Exhale. Hands come down. Push into the palms. Tuck the toes on the right side. Kick that left foot back. Plank. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2. This time you're going to bring your plank down. Tuck the elbows in toward the rib cage. Come all the way down. Lift up. Maybe take a cobra. Maybe an up dog. Take some neck circles here. And then we'll push all the way back into child's pose. So I encourage you today in your child's pose, you can take an extended child's pose with your arms out, but I would encourage you today to make that little pillow with your forearms. And then just go back and forth on your forehead from one side to the other. And come back to that intention of focusing on the good, even when it's hard to do it, right? So that's usually when we need it more. And try to retrain your brain to focus on those moments and not the negative reinforcement. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes giving yourself this time on the mat. And I would encourage you to stay here in child's pose if it feels good to you, or you can meet me in an easy seat just to close out our practice. This is not something that's easy to do in daily life, but it's a really good lesson to take off the mat, in that you can, to retrain your brain, you can teach yourself to focus less on the negative and more on the positive. And it does affect that energy around you and the way you feel. Bringing the thumbs to the heart center. The light in me honors the light in all of you. I will see you for day 30. Namaste.